Welcome back to the shop. Tonight, I didn't plan to make a video on this. So I'm replacing the fuel pump in my wife's car. It's a 2008 Mercedes GL320. Pretty basic, straightforward. There's plenty of videos on YouTube on how to do it. So I thought, there's no sense in me taking the time to do it. I ordered the parts from the Mercedes dealer. They came in. The first night that I had free, I decided it was time to get this taken care of. The issue that we were having was the fuel gauge stopped working. So not knowing how much fuel's in there, it can cause some issues, especially for when you have multiple drivers and you can't keep track of how many miles are on a tank. So set out to do it, doing it myself because I like to do it myself and because it'll save me a bit of money. And everything went pretty well. Pretty straightforward. There's a lot of videos on YouTube that show you how to do that. So if you want to, go check it out. If you need me to find one for you and send it to you that I felt helpful, let me know in the comments or send me a message. But the reason that I decided to actually do the video this time was because I ran into a problem. The problem is that the part that came doesn't match the part that came out. So let's check it out. I'll show you what I'm going to do. We'll check in on it after driving it a little bit, and I can maybe spread what I learned from this project to the rest of the internet. Now, obviously, because I had not planned properly to make this video, it's worse laid out than my other videos are. Because instead of having a plan and setting the camera up while I was doing the work, I was just doing the work. So a lot of the work has been done already. For instance, the pump's already out of the car. Over here. In the Mercedes, there is a pump over there, and then there's a sending unit over here. It's pretty straightforward. Again, like I said, you can find all of that on YouTube on other people's channels. What is unique about this, and the reason why I decided to make the video today, is this particular unit is different than the one that came out. So this is the one that came out of the unit, came out of the car. It has a pickup with a little, some type of a fluid pump thing on there that comes off of a T on the top of the fuel pump. The new one, which I have called the local Mercedes dealer, and they have confirmed that this is the part number that applies, and it supersedes this part number. And this one does not have a port for that other line. So not only does it not tee off of the top, it also doesn't have anywhere to connect this outrigger. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to put this pump in without the outrigger, without this part, and I'm going to run it because everything else lines up. All these connections, the electrical connections, the float, everything lines up. The connection to the other side of the tank lines up. So we're going to put it together like this and see how she goes. Or the reason that I did this video is to help give back to the internet. I wasn't planning on doing a video on this car. It's my wife's car, and my goal is to get it back in her hands as quickly as possible. But just for you guys, I'm going to list out the old part number, which is A16447019294. I'll put it down in the description, wherever that is. The new part number is A164700394. And again, I called the local Mercedes dealer where I bought the parts from, and they confirmed that the new part number A164700394 supersedes the old part number and is listed as the correct part for this car. This car is a 2008 Mercedes GL320CDI. It has the 3-liter diesel, and it has the GL model, the GL body style, not the ML. I don't know if that applies to any other models either. The parts person at my dealership went and checked with his service representative, and they were not able to find any known TSBs that corresponded with the change in the style of the pump. So it's possible that we have some pickup issues with that extra bit of tubing missing. I'll definitely before I complete this video and editing and all that stuff and loading it to the internet, I will definitely include any results that I have with a couple fuel tanks worth of fuel run through it. So I'm gonna get going. I'm gonna get it back together. You may see some of that, you may not. I can't say for sure. I have the GoPros out here now. I have the video camera started, so you may see some of the reassembly process, but again, unfortunately, you don't have any of the disassembly process. And I'm in a little bit of a hurry because it's a couple days before Thanksgiving and we've got to get on the highway tomorrow. So let's get going. Thanks again for stopping out. Welcome back out to the shop. It's been a couple of weeks actually. I got the car back together. I got it done in time. I kind of didn't finish the video all the way, so at this point in the video it doesn't quite make sense, or there's some stuff missing. That's my fault. I was rushing to get this thing back on the road before Thanksgiving. So it's now January 13th or 14th, and a lot has happened. I put the fuel pump back together, installed it, drove it around and tested it, and the fuel pump worked. It worked fine, even missing that extra length of hose. The problem that we had was it didn't fix the problem with the fuel gauge, which was the initial purpose for me doing all that work on the fuel pump. When I took it to the dealership, they told me that it was the bad fuel pump. So to save $1,000, I decided to do the fuel pump myself. I'm fully capable. It seemed like a pretty straightforward job. But as you could tell, getting a part that doesn't match and then also doing the work and not fixing the problem puts a little bit of stress on me. So we went to go for our trip for Thanksgiving to visit family. But just before we left, I realized I had a different computer for the back of the Mercedes. So just to recap, the rear SAM controls the brakes and a lot of stuff in the back. It's a signal acquisition module. That computer also controls the trailer lights, which when we first got this thing, the trailer lights didn't work. So I had it back and forth with Mercedes a couple of times, and they decided to put a new computer in the back. When they put the new computer in, I asked for the old one. I said, hey, give me that old one back just in case, you know, if we ever have a problem with a new one. And it dawned on me after I did all the work on the fuel pump, mind you, it dawned on me, hey, maybe it's that computer. So I grabbed the old one that everything seemed to work on it except for the trailer lights when we initially had the problem. So I threw that back in the car and drove it around, and sure enough, the fuel gauge began working. It didn't quite work perfectly at first. It would go to about a half a tank when it was full. And then after using it for maybe 2 weeks, it is fully functional now. So we did all that work on the fuel pump seemingly for nothing. And then the rear computer seemed to be the problem. Now I don't have trailer lights right now, but I've got to go back to the dealership and talk to them about their improper diagnostics. Mm-hmm. And then we'll wrap this up. What else was I gonna say? Yeah, I don't know. It's already 7 minutes long and nobody's gonna stick around for 7 minutes to watch this. Oh well. I'm gonna replace this rear SAM, put the old one back in, clean it up, make sure that it all works, and take it back to Mercedes and try and get them to replaced. Anyway, let's take a look. Thanks for stopping out. All right, let's stop this.